Hello boys and girls, and welcome to Sunday School. We are continuing our big story of God's forever kingdom that's found in the Bible. And today's story is from the Gospel of Luke and the book of Acts in the New Testament. Let's start by looking at our poster. What do you see in this picture? Is there anything you wonder about? I wonder why Jesus is going up in the clouds. I wonder why there is a bright light coming from him. Let's find out more in our story. Jesus appeared to his disciples for 40 days after his resurrection. He ate with them, showed them that he was real, and continued to teach them about God's wonderful kingdom. Jesus wanted his kingdom to grow, not just in Jerusalem, but throughout the whole world and in the hearts of all people. Jesus knew that the time was drawing close when he would be leaving them to go back to his Father in heaven. At this time, Jesus gave his disciples a special commandment called the Great Commission. The Great Commission is a memory verse today. Let's read it. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. So you must go and make disciples of all nations. Baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Teach them to obey everything I have commanded you, and you can be sure that I am always with you. Matthew 28:18-20. Jesus also told his disciples of the Father's promise to send the Holy Spirit to them. The Holy Spirit would come to help them, to give them power to tell others about Jesus and to be his witnesses to the ends of the earth. Then Jesus had to leave and return to heaven. He lifted up his hands and blessed the disciples. As he did this, he was taken up into heaven. The disciples watched until a cloud hid him from their sight. While they were looking up at the sky, 2 men dressed in white clothing suddenly stood beside them. Men of Galilee, they said, why do you stand here looking at the sky? Jesus has been taken away from you into heaven, but he will come back in the same way you saw him go. We call this event the Ascension because Jesus ascended. That means he was taken up into heaven, into God's glorious light. Jesus sat down on his throne in heaven beside his Father and began to rule as the forever King. One day Jesus will come back to reign on the earth, and his glorious kingdom will be everywhere for all eternity. After the disciples saw Jesus going up to heaven, they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem filled with great joy. There they worshipped, prayed, and waited for the Father to send the Holy Spirit, just as he had promised. It must have been an amazing sight for the disciples to see Jesus being lifted up into heaven. Next week we will hear more about how the Father sent the Holy Spirit to help the disciples and all followers of Jesus, including you and me. Bye for now. See you next week.